Hi, this is Mark from the SEO podcast, and today I want to show you how you can estimate search volume based upon keywords. One of the most basic questions I get from clients and for people who are just new to SEO is, how is this going to impact my site? So the first thing we need to understand is how much traffic is out there, how much potential visitors we can capture by ranking for these keywords. So the tool I use for this is called SEMrush. SEMrush shows you a lot of data. It's great for search marketing, but today we are just going to use it to understand keyword volume. You can also use Google AdWords for this to pull out the data, but I find it more complicated. SEMrush is very quick and gives me all the information I need to quote someone or to see if a niche is worth getting into. So I'm going to type in my keyword here, Chicago plumber. And here you see a bunch of information. We'll skip that for now and just go to the phrase match. By clicking on View Full Report, I'm going to see all the terms. So I typed in Chicago plumber, but the terminology with the most search is plumber Chicago, which is a variation of what I thought would be the most popular keyword. So we have plumber Chicago searched 1,000 times and Chicago plumber searched 880 times. If your site is ranking dominantly for Chicago plumber, you should also be ranking dominantly for plumber Chicago. You'll see this in Google, that Google will oftentimes reward a powerful site on multiple variations of the same keyword. So plumber Chicago, Chicago plumber, Chicago plumbers, and plumber Chicago, I would guess that they're all going to rank at the same exact position. So if I'm number one, I would assume I'm going to be number one for the other three. If not number one, then definitely in the top 5. However, emergency plumbers in Chicago is a longer tail version of that. I'm not going to immediately rank for emergency plumber Chicago if I'm only shooting for plumber Chicago. Emergency plumber Chicago is going to be more competitive. It's going to be harder to rank for. And if I'm not trying to include that in my marketing efforts, then I won't see traction there. I might get to, the top of the 3rd page based upon the power of plumber Chicago, but I would not expect myself to be ranking for this. After I rank a site for these keywords, I could come back and with minimal effort, I could start doing some stuff to get ranking for this. But for my initial consultation or my initial estimation, I'm going to remove it from the totals. So these 4 things definitely I want to add together. Plumber Chicago, Illinois, I'm going to tack that one on there also. Plumber Chicago, Illinois. Chicago, Illinois plumbers in Chicago, Illinois. Those are the terms that I believe are close enough that I should see rankings for. So then I just take a calculator and add that together. So we have 1,000 for our main term. And there's kind of a few miscellaneous terms. We could add those too, but this is just a demonstration, so I won't go through every single term. But once I have a good base of numbers, what I feel like I'll be impacting, I divide that number. So for math purposes, we'll just go to 2,500. I divide that number by 2. When I divide that number by 2, that gives me how much search traffic I believe I will see being the number 1. So we were at 2,500. Let me make sure I did the math right. Divided by 2. So that's 1,250 searches. So if I'm at number 1 for Chicago plumbers, I'm expecting I will get 1,250 visits a month for that terminology. Now I'm going to multiply that by 0.03, which is my conversion rate, and that's going to give me 37.5. So I believe that I'm going to get 1,200 visitors. Out of those 1,200 visitors, 3% of them will take action by calling me or filling out a form to give me 37 conversions. 3% is a very basic conservative estimation of site conversions. If you have a local niche, you could take that number all the way to 10%. If you're playing like national e-commerce, you could take that as low as 1%. So I stay at 3% because it gives me a conservative estimate. It'll also give me the opportunity to impress my client when I say, oh, you're going to get 40 calls a month from this, and they get 60. That's a great opportunity. So I'm at 37.5. I will then take this and I'll multiply that by their average order value. So let's say for a plumber, it's $250. So that's $9,375 I think I'll generate by being number one for Chicago plumbers in Chicago, all those variations. It's a very easy formula. You take the volume of all related keywords, divide it by 2 for the number 1 spot. I would divide it by 4 if I'm going to be in the 2 spot. I divide it by 8 if I'm in the 3 spot, etc., on down until once I'm out of 5, it's not worth the math anymore. And then I times that, I multiply that by 3% to give me my conversion. That'll give me the estimated number of monthly conversions, and then I can multiply that by their sales, average sale, to give me how much revenue I believe they're going to generate off this term. Very simple, very straightforward. Gives you an easy way to do this. It's quick math, and in my experience, it works out every single time. If you have questions, you can ask them. You can email us, podcast@theseopodcast.com. You can also hit us up on Twitter. We are at the SEO Podcast. We try to answer every single question that comes in. Until next time, let's wage war on Google together.